Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about my 5 favorite films that I watched in 2019, and these films are not technically films that came out in 2019. These are just films that I watched for the first time this year. Whenever I watch a film, I usually write it down, and I write it down with the date I watched it. It might sound crazy, but I love films, and sometimes I remember like, oh, I watched this film in December, but I can't remember the name, so then I just go in my book, look for December, and I can figure out the film. So anyway, I'm going to be talking about my favorite films that I watched in 2019, so let's get started. Okay, so the first film I want to talk about is Point Break, and this film is definitely not a new one. It has been around for a long time, but I watched it for the first time this year, and it stars Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze. Patrick Swayze plays a surfer dude, and his name is Bodhi, and Keanu Reeves plays Johnny Utah. And Johnny is a police officer who ends up being undercover because he's trying to catch these criminals, and he encounters Bodhi and meets his friends, and that's what the story follows. It follows the relationship between Bodhi and Johnny Utah, and follows them as Bodhi teaches Johnny how to surf and Johnny becomes a surfer, and where that leads Johnny into the investigation and what he ends up finding out about Bodhi and his friends. Number 2 on my list, which this is obviously I had to put this on this list, Avengers Endgame came out this year, and it was my favorite Avengers movie that I have seen, and I've seen all of them. So it was just incredible how they combined all those characters into one film, and it was so good. I never go to theaters, and I wanted to watch Avengers Endgame on a big screen, hearing all the sounds really loud and just being immersed in the experience. So instead of going to my local theater, I went to like one that had a bigger screen. That's how much I cared about this. You don't need to watch the other Marvel films to understand this film, but if you have, then you understand the intricacies of this film more. If you watch the other Marvel films, you can appreciate it more because you understand how much it would have taken to incorporate all these individual characters into this broader story. Next, I have Forrest Gump, which was also an older movie, but I saw it for the first time this year, and every time I see it on TV now, I always watch it because it's just a really good film. It is sad, it teaches you lessons and gives you a different perspective on things, and I just think it's a really brilliant story that everyone should watch. Next on my list is Gifted, which stars Chris Evans and McKenna Grace, and they are both great actors, and she is so young and she's so great. This movie also has Octavia Spencer, and Jenny Slate plays also a character in the story, and it follows the story of Chris Evans' character and McKenna's character and their relationship. Chris is her uncle, and it shows everything that he would do for her because she's family, and how he's looking out for her, but how he doesn't know exactly what is right and wrong for her and what will benefit her in the long run and what will maybe hurt her in the long run, and he doesn't know what choices to make for her because it's so hard to choose for someone's future when you don't know for sure what the child wants, and they're too young to ask them because they might not know what they really want. It tells the story of him and her and their one-eyed cat, their everyday lives, and how they care about each other. They still fight with each other. It's just a brilliant story of family. So last on my list is It Chapter 2, and I just saw this recently because I didn't see it when it came out in theaters, but I got it on DVD, and I just think it's a really good story, and it just stood out to me. So when I was thinking about films that I watched this year that I really liked, I thought of this one because all the other films they're basically like dramas. I feel like I have films from all different genres. Like Point Break is kind of like funny adventure, then we have Endgame, which is superheroes, and Forrest Gump, which is more serious but also comedy sometimes. Gifted is serious but also comedy sometimes. It's definitely a drama. And then I have It Chapter 2, which is a horror movie, so I think that's perfect to end my list. And I think it's the director's Annie Muschietti or something like that, but all the actors are great, and I really liked how in this second movie the people who are supposed to play the older versions of the kids actually look like the kids. I know sometimes movies do this where the older versions look nothing like the kids, and it's so confusing, and I don't like that because it's like you can't just tell the audience that this is supposed to be this person as an adult and make them believe it. If they don't look nothing like the kid, it's going to take away from the story, because the whole time I'm going to be thinking that the adult does not look like the kid. Yeah, I really liked this film, and it was scarier than the first one. But if you've watched any of these films that I mentioned, let me know in the comments down below which was your favorite, and if you liked it or if you didn't. Especially Avengers Endgame. I want to know what you thought of that film. Have heard mixed opinions. I really liked it, but my mother and brother were kind of iffy. They thought it was okay. They liked Infinity War better, but personally I liked Endgame a lot better. So let me know in the comments what you think, and thanks for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Johnny Utah, Utah, give me 2.